Yeah, of course, that's always the goal, is to make fitness fun. Because the huge challenge is, of course, to keep players motivated, keep them having fun, keep them coming back for more. And that's why we thought that we should make it into more of like a game, because if there's one thing that games do really well, is that they do keep you coming back. We try to analyze just what is it that keeps you, that draws you in, that makes you want more. And we think that immersion and interactivity and of course entertainment are core there. So we try to make a fitness experience that was as immersive and interactive and fun as possible. So by doing things in first person, for instance, we have a level of immersion that just, to me, it feels very engaging. It feels like I'm in full control and I can do like what I want. And it's me playing my game the way I want to play it, instead of just copying a routine that, well, just by the name, you know that it's a routine and it gets boring. Yeah. So we want to offer like a very, very deep level of interactivity. So that's why we do a lot with one-to-one tracking, and that's why Move is so good, because it tracks you in 3D and it tracks you very fast and accurate. So you can do things like picking up something and throwing it. We have an exercise where a dodgeball exercise, where you can catch balls as they're thrown at you, and you can throw them back, or you can pick them up from the floor and throw them. If you have it if you don't want to throw with your left hand, you can throw it and catch it with your right. So it's physics-based and one-to-one, and it's just something, a level of interactivity that just, you know, it keeps me interested anyway, and I've been playing it a lot. So. The little bit of calibration that you do before each exercise is also not, it's necessary once, but the reason why we do it all the time is to make it easier for several players. If the whole family wants to play at the same time, then it's just, instead of clicking I want to be a new player every single time, we just do a quick click like this before every exercise to find out how tall you are, and that's the all information we need, because the game constantly recalibrates to you as you move along, and as you play, it tracks you and estimates where your body is. So if I want to, in the boxing exercises, for instance, if I sidestep, the game is going to know that you sidestepped, so the camera will follow, and you can move around very naturally, and you can duck and dodge and everything. So it's just it's an approximation of. It gets very technical, but I mean, with your audience, so it basically does a constant approximation of where the hands are, and it's a kind of a likeliness chain that traces your arms back to where they're most likely to be. So we know how the anatomy looks, and we estimate based on the hand position and orientation where your body is, and we do this constantly, like in real time. So if you change, I mean, that was a very big complaint with the fight, that you weren't able to move, and a fitness game where you're not able to move, it's a pretty poor match. So we're very proud that we've done something that's so robust that you can basically run around anywhere you like and it still works. Something like range finding, for instance, that we mentioned, is you don't have to try to find the range, because we adjust that to you automatically. So if you punch and you step back and you punch again, you're still going to hit. So a lot of people find that difficult, because well, they're playing a video game after all, and even in real life boxing, judging distance is quite difficult. So we just thought we want to make something that's interactive and something that's fun and something that's a bit challenging, but we don't want to make it hard. We don't want to make it so that's frustrating. I try to punch, but I miss, and that's just not fun. You should focus on the good parts and ignore the bad, because the game should be doing that for you. And I think we've achieved that quite well, actually. Absolutely. There's the dodgeball one that I mentioned before, where you have to dodge away from balls, and you can pick them up and throw them at targets, and you can throw with precision. So we have different targets, and the Move controllers are actually so precise. So if I aim for that one and throw at it, I will hit it. And of course, I mean, the sword thing, it's a bit of a silly exercise in one way, but it's also, I mean, when you have this in your hand, it just seems so very natural to turn it into a sword. So we hit targets in different patterns. So instead of just waving like this, we want you to move. We always want to try to keep you moving your whole body. So we launch target at you in patterns that has you you need to move to be able to hit them, and you need to use both hands and need some coordination, and so it's like it's fun to just hack away at things, but then there's also the level of skill that if you want to, you can try to improve and get your score up, and if you hit an entire row of targets, you raise your multiplier level. So there's a depth to the gameplay. We have a variety of boxing-based exercises. So you've seen where you hit the dummy and where you hit the mitts, and we also have a light sparring mode. It's not a full-fledged fighting game, because once again we don't want to make it hard. We don't want to make it difficult. But it's a very fast-paced game where you throw quick combinations and you duck and dodge away from the trainer, and then you counter-attack. So it's quite actually it's not a fighting game, but it's very fun. It gets you pumped, gets you excited.
3D mode
No, there won't be a 3D mode, because since you're running around and jumping so much, it just felt uncomfortable to do it with glasses on. So there's no 3D.
They might also fall off your face.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to do too much serious athletic activity with expensive kit on your head. So. Well, the score comparison thing is an interesting thing, because we've been playing lots of games where you can see other people's high scores in the game as you play. It could be anything, not fitness related at all, but trials. You can see ghost runs of other players and you can compete against them, and it's very motivating. So we tried to do something that worked similar to that. So you have your score bar where you can see your score ticking down, and you can also see all your friends' scores, and you can see the leaderboard spots, and you can see where trophies and goals are. So it's a very good way to motivate you, because you can see, I only have to go this much further on the scoreboard to beat that score, and just go for it. What we send between players is basically like high score challenges, and you can also track on the leaderboards. You can track things like calories burned and like your scores for all the different, the ton of different exercises. So, and then the game also gives you these micro goals. It's not something that you're forced to do, but it's just for every day you train. We try to think. People always like to have something to achieve, so we always suggest, like, well, maybe today you could do this. Absolutely. We have a lot of people at the office with a fitness background, but then of course we've consulted with other outside experts as well, because there's always the health aspect to think about, to know that you're not recommending something that's harmful for people, and just to know that it's good exercise. So we had help from experts just to set up the programs and to make sure that all the exercises are exactly as they should be. It just felt like a very natural progression for us. Coming off the fight, we saw that one of the things that got the best feedback was just the fitness aspects of it. And we thought, we have all this, we've made all this. We made a fitness pack as well, a downloadable pack for the fight, that just sort of whet our appetite for the whole thing, and just said that, well, this is actually a really good workout. This is. The whole fitness made fun. It's a bit of a mantra. It's something that people say a lot, but we really saw that this is a way to actually make fitness fun, because you're playing it, you're enjoying it, and the good stuff, the health benefits, they just come, and you forget about it as you play. And we thought that it's basically, it's just a completely natural way to move on, just to focus on those parts and try to enhance them even further and do more variety and make it more accessible, because that's the thing about the fight. The fight was very good fitness if you already had like a basic level of understanding of boxing and everything, but it wasn't quite beginner friendly. But this is very beginner friendly, and it also has the depth to keep the more physically able players like engaged and interested.